where we talk about sports in a very generational way based on our experiences. I am the millennial Kyle, and I can't call this Sports Talk with Dad without my dad on the show. He is the baby boomer in this conversation. Say hi.
Hi.
They don't call him the best color guy in the business for nothing. He is short, sweet, to the point. I love it. Today we got a couple of topics we want to talk about. Specifically, uniforms is what we're really going to get into. But considering our team, the Packers, just got into the playoffs and clinched the number one seed, we got to cheer that one on.
Absolutely. Way to go, Packers.
Way to go. Make it happen. We can say our team. We are stock owners in the team. So anybody out there that's saying you can't say it, it's not your team, I own it. My piece of paper says it.
That's right. And I want to give a shout out to our head coach, who quite honestly I think should be the coach of the year this year.
Oh, he should be.
He should be, but he won't be.
No.
But
Bengals coach.
Probably. And he did a great job. I'm not taking it away from him. But LaFleur has won more games than any other coach in history in his first 3 years. That's not why I'm giving him props. He was on the sidelines in a miserably cold day with just a vest.
He's a man's man.
Anybody who can do that deserves huge shout-outs, and I was very impressed.
He was going with the other Packer fans. We had big fat guys with no shirts on again this week in -1 degree weather.
That's kind of a tradition.
It is a tradition.
Before the game, I told you how many people will be there without their shirts on tonight.
I called an over-under 6, and I think there were 10.
Yeah.
I think I lost that one. I called the under. But, I mean, alcohol is also a tradition here in Wisconsin, and
not
that's
in
what leads.
And we are not encouraging drinking, folks. But, you go to a game, you're going to have a couple beers, even in freezing cold weather. Tailgating is a tradition in Green Bay, which we love.
Best thing ever.
Absolutely. So,
I mean, honestly, at Lambeau Field, we lived down in Florida. We went to a Florida Gator game down there, and it was a very similar experience at Lambeau when it came to tailgating.
It's almost a college atmosphere. It always has been. I mean,
right.
My God, Lambeau still has metal benches in there.
Yeah.
So it's a unique place.
The parking lot is as big as most high schools' parking lot, the actual parking lot of Lambeau Field. For anybody that's never been to Lambeau that doesn't understand that, the actual parking lot for Lambeau Field is probably the size of the parking lot you see at your local Kohl's or any other department store. It's not big. You are parking in people's yards and in their houses and paying them to leave your car there.
Well, and quite honestly, that's how a lot of those people pay their mortgages for the year. And God bless them.
You walk out of just a random neighborhood you'd see anywhere, and all of a sudden there's this gigantic coliseum. It's just loud as loud can be.
Love to be in that neighborhood, looking across that Lambeau Field. It's almost like Wrigley Field in that sense. It's in the neighborhood.
Yep. It's
the shrine to football. Anybody who hasn't been to Lambeau Field, you need to make the trip. It's almost like a pilgrimage, like you'd go to Wrigley Field or Fenway Park.
See the Packer Hall of Fame, go across the street to the Don Hutson Center, and just really walk around. It's 100,000 people. The whole entire neighborhood fits in the stadium.
But, and the Packer Hall of Fame is also something that's unique to the Packers.
But you can't do the Lambeau Leap there anymore.
I know. They should bring it back. You can't kick a field goal there anymore, which I loved when you were little when we went there and did that. But it's still, at one point in time, and I'm sure it's not true now, but at one point, more people went to the Packer Hall of Fame every year than they did the National Football Hall of Fame. So it's a great place. It's in that atrium. They did a fantastic job on that.
Oh, amazing. It was worth every penny. It looks gorgeous.
If there was a place, you've been married for years, but if you had to do a reception or even the marriage, wife may not want to do that, but considering she's a Bear fan.
I was going to say she's a Bears fan. So she definitely wouldn't want to do that, but she does wear the green and gold for me specifically. I have an amazing wife who has been to a few Packer games with me wearing green and gold, so I appreciate her forever for that.
Someday in the future, we'll tell the story of the Packer Hall of Fame ceremony we went to for William Henderson.
Yes.
Because that was just unbelievably cool.
One of my all-time favorite people. So
But
go Pack, go! Way to go, Matt LaFleur, an amazing coach. Win this Super Bowl, and you will replace Mike McCarthy on our coaching Mount Rushmore for sure. Can't replace Mike McCarthy until LaFleur wins a Super Bowl.
I disagree, but we will have that conversation later. I do want to ask you a question, though, about Packers going into this week. And really, this would be for any team who's already clinched the number one seed.
Right.
Remember when the Colts did it? They sat Peyton Manning, and he played lousy. Now, the Packers have announced they're probably going to play Rodgers for part of the game, half the game. We've got guys that are coming back off of major injuries. Bakhtiari, Alexander,
Right.
Zadarius Smith. Do you get him into the game, or do you go and rest?
You got to get him in the game. I mean, don't forget, Peyton Manning rested for 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
This would be 3 weeks.
Because they were 14-0.
Right.
And then they decided to bench him and not go for the perfect season. Maybe they were 13-0. They clinched the 1 seed really early. They were by far the best team in the regular season. I don't think we've seen Aaron Rodgers after sitting already this year. I mean, he missed 10 days and then had the broken toe, which led him to miss more practice. He's great. I mean, he's one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks of all time, but the rust definitely showed when he came back. They lowered the playbook. Now that he's been in full swing with practice, you see the difference. Look at the throws he made.
Those were some of the best throws I've ever seen. And that's what I worry about, quite honestly, with Bakhtiari and Alexander. I want them to get into at least have a feel for game. It's going to be like a preseason game, nothing to prove, playing Detroit. But I would like to see them at least get into a game and feel a couple hits.
Yeah, I mean, and Dan Campbell's an amazing coach. He's proven that the way his players are still playing for him and have all season, even though they have a losing record. I can't say enough just on that fact alone. I agree with you. I mean, if you bring Bakhtiari back and he gets hurt, I mean, he was going to get hurt in the playoffs anyways. You're coming into the cold of Lambeau Field. You can't have their first game coming back being in negative 5-degree temperature. You got to get them some hits. It's in a controlled atmosphere with the dome.
I don't care if it's 2 series. Just get out there, feel the game a little bit, then sit them down and get ready for the playoffs in 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I 100% think that has to happen. And I also think this is a game, bringing it to our topic of the day, is a game where the Packers should just wear ridiculously insane uniforms.
There should never be ridiculously insane uniforms, and I'll bring up an example. The Seahawks, when they wore those lime green popsicle uniforms, were the worst ever.
No.
Oh my God, they were awful.
You're talking awful about these uniforms right here. The highlighter uniforms.
Those, oh God. It looked like somebody vomited on their jerseys.
It looks like somebody took a highlighter and colored them in.
It's just awful.
It's amazing.
No.
I 100% disagree. Are they ugly uniforms? Yeah, they're ugly uniforms.
Okay, at least we agree on that.
But the fact that it's so unique, it was something to talk about. I wish they went all out and changed the helmet to that color.
Well, remember what league we're talking about, the No Fun League.
Right.
Yeah, I liked it, but when the Packers did do the throwbacks, and I hope we're coming to an end of that, although this year's throwbacks were amazing. But when they did the throwback to 1929, I loved the brown helmets. Throwback to the leather helmet days. I know we've talked about that.
And
forever.
Just to get into the conversation more and where this subject's going to go here. So I am a big believer in. I don't want to see the same uniforms anymore. I love the Packer uniforms. I love the tradition. You see behind my dad back there, the 3 Hall of Famers together, all wearing the same uniform, and it's perfect. I love it. However, I don't think most teams need that type of tradition. I don't. Those are winning uniforms. I mean, that's 5-7. That's 96. That's Reggie White. That's Aaron Rodgers, Bart Starr, Lombardi uniforms.
Right.
Those have an amazing history. A lot of teams don't have that.
Oh, wait a minute. Every team has that. We've got the Cowboys. We've got the Bears, the Steelers, even the Patriots, I would say they're new ones. The new ones they went to when they got rid of Patriot Pack
Definitely.
are iconic.
Right.
The Rams did have iconic uniforms, but you get what I'm saying. Every team has their own history.
Right.
And the Cardinals, which would be a great trivia question
Which
for
Cardinals?
some people. That's the question.
The football Cardinals, right?
The football Cardinals. And who is the oldest team in the NFL?
It's Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
They played in the first game when they're in Chicago, then to St. Louis, and then
a lot of bets at certain
But
bars.
you look at Arizona, though. See, yes, there's the oldest team in football. It's not even close, right? But they haven't won anything.
What are you talking about? They went to the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner.
They had one season where they
Right.
went. But I mean, talking about historical winning, what's the tradition there?
But the uniform and the helmet specifically is iconic. It's classic. It's beautiful. I think would it be cool to change it for a game? Make it black with the Cardinal on it? Sure. That would be great. But that white helmet with the Cardinal on the side,
change it
don't
forever.
mess with it. Oh,
change
that's
it forever.
ridiculous.
I want to see it different. I want to see new concept helmets. I want to see new concept uniforms. I want to blow it up. Like with what the Jets did. The Jets made some of the greatest new age uniforms you could have ever asked for. I love them.
I hate them.
I know you do, and I don't understand how.
Because they're ugly. They had the best uniforms, other than maybe the Chargers. They're the Joe Willie Namath classic uniforms with the white helmet with the football on the side was awesome.
Look at these black uniforms. How can you sit here and look at this and tell me those are hideous uniforms?
Because they're just color rush uniforms. I'm not a fan. We've seen them go with one color. Hey, look, for one game, if that's what they want to do, fine.
No, they bucked tradition and made something amazing and new age. I love the New York on the front.
Oh,
I like the Jet symbol on the side of the helmet.
I don't like that. Look, I will give you this. The green helmet with the way they did the Jets with the little football underneath, kind of an homage to the Joe Willie Namath.
Yeah.
I can deal with that. That being said, they never should have went away from the white helmets and the Joe Namath white uniforms. They were just classic and they're gorgeous.
They're great uniforms. They're great. But they don't look anything special. I mean, they don't look like anything you wouldn't find on a high school team.
That's not even close to true. Those are some of the most iconic forms that have ever been in the NFL.
Right. Let me pull these up here.
Pull them up.
Jets, Joe Namath uniforms.
I can't wait for the people who comment to just blow you up on this.
I don't think they will. I think they are unbelievable the way they have them now. I love the new uniforms. I think they're some of the best in football. So which ones are we looking at here? Which one do you want me to pull up? These?
The number 12, second row.
They're all number 12.
Okay, second row.
These?
Yes. Or better yet, pull up the green one. Pull up the green one with the white sleeves. Can you do better than that? My God, those are gorgeous uniforms.
I mean, they're not terrible. They're super old school, which that's just how they made uniforms back in the day. So they look great from that point of view, but they don't fit in today's NFL. They just don't.
Well,
you'd never get them to look like that. Those days are gone with that type of pattern and the stitching and everything. You have to change it at this point. And I think what they did with the new uniforms is great. And I want to see more teams do just that.
Idiot one.
No.
Okay,
let us know in the comments below what you think of this. Let's prove him wrong and say that the new Jets uniforms are way better than the old Jets uniforms. But what I do want to say though is I want to see. Have you seen the new concepts for the black uniforms?
No, go ahead.
All right, I gotta pull these up. If you haven't seen these yet, these are awesome, and I want to see every team go with a solid black uniform.
Why would you do that? I mean, let's have a little individuality in the game.
I mean, yeah, have individuality. I want to see Nike just run away with these and just make them unbelievable. But look at these right here, just for a couple of the concepts here. Look at the Raiders all black.
Well, the Raiders, I think, would look awesome in all black, and I like the black helmet with the Raiders. That's different. That's their color scheme.
I'd
Go
like
ahead
to
and do
see,
it.
even with these here, honestly, to go back to the original uniforms now that they're in Vegas and put some gold in the
That would be
uniform.
fine.
The New
Outline,
Orleans ones?
outline the numbers of the gold. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, again, this is their color scheme to start with.
Look at the Vikings. I hate the Vikings, but those are sick
No,
uniforms.
I hate those. If you're going to do anything with the Vikings, I'd rather see them go with a white helmet. I think it would look better.
I mean, it would make it look less,
Yeah,
provocative. But I mean, at the same time, you don't like the purple sleeves with the black and the purple numbers? I think it looks great.
I don't. I hate the helmet. I mean, the
Oh,
helmet
I
is
love
just
the helmet.
off-putting to me. Look, those jerseys with white pants would be great.
I
I
think all
don't
black.
like that for the Cowboys. I just
I like
don't.
this for the Cowboys. I like this for the Lions a lot, to do an all
No,
black, just like this.
I would love to see the Lions go with a blue helmet
I'd love to
and
see a blue helmet for the Lions too.
then have the silver
Patriots here,
lion. No, again, everything looks the same. Then that's just goofy. Don't even bother with that.
how about these?
Nope.
I like these. These are hideous.
Yeah. Again, not with all the same
Look at
color.
these. Look at these.
No, not with the helmet.
Yes.
No.
Yes. I honestly think you get rid of the green for the most part and just go black and yellow and make it look like the Gotham Knights from the Batman movies and just run with it.
If you want to do the black jerseys with the green outlining the colors and then the gold pants and put a green helmet out for a game, fine. But not this all black. Oh my God, it's awful.
I think this looks absolutely unbelievable. I would love to see the Packers run out in this. It gives you something extra to talk about and gives people something extra to buy, which I think is awesome.
They're buying it anyways. You can buy this jersey right now. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I don't
so put
like
it
this.
on the field.
Not all black. It's just awful.
All black. I want to see them come back with some more concept uniforms. I want to see them come in with different designs. Nike's here now. Just run with it.
Yeah.
Look what they've done with college. Look at some of the Ohio State uniforms. Were some of them ugly? Yeah, they were pretty bad. But it was still awesome to see the difference in uniforms and just to say, you know what, we got traditional uniforms, we're going to wear these, but a lot of our games we're going to wear something different.
But with Ohio State, they're at least they're doing different for one game. Notre Dame has done that as well. Honestly, I would love to see the Badgers do that a little more than they do because they really haven't changed much. I would like to see them go back to having Bucky on the side of their helmets for a game, but I don't see them doing that.
No,
the motion W is too ingrained now at this point.
It is.
But you take a look at a team like the Lions. See if you can find a Lions with a blue helmet. I just want to show it there because I think it would be an awesome look for them to go to.
Here's one. I like it.
Not that one. That's
that one.
Awful. That's just stupid. Bring up the blue one with the same lion. No.
That one.
No.
This is the one.
No, it's not. I want to see the blue helmet with their same size lion they have now in silver. Well, it's getting close. Make the lion silver and away you go.
But we'll go with this one. I mean, that's cool. I like that. I'd love to see them do something like that. I agree you'd have to have the silver lion for contrast. Yeah. But I would love to see Arizona do this for a helmet.
Oh, God. How can you think that, Kyle? That's just awful.
It's not awful. It's awesome. It uses the whole helmet. The face mask is the beak. And it's super cool to see on the field.
Face mask. Okay. No.
Yeah.
If they could go away, they could get away with going to black on their helmets for a game and putting the regular cardinal on the side, not this thing.
Even if we're going to start with this, I would love to see this for a game. I would absolutely love to see this for a game, especially if you see some black uniforms on that, or even black pants, red uniform with this on here. It would look awesome running up and down the field.
And no, I don't want your kids to look back in 50 years and go, what were you thinking?
I do.
Of course you do.
We look back on the 90s from when I was a kid and say, what were you thinking? And yet it's still magically coming back and everybody thinks it's cool again.
Well, and we can do that with Me Too at the 70s, and there are certain things like bell bottoms that should never come back.
But they are. They're here. They're back again. It's doing its cyclical thing.
Everything's cyclical, but this shouldn't be.
This should be something you should throw in there. This is terrible. I mean, this should never happen.
No, God, no.
This should 100% happen.
No, it shouldn't. That may be the ugliest helmet I've ever seen in my life. Look what they're doing to that poor dolphin.
I mean, the logo's ugly anyways. You might as well go all out.
Look, Miami should go back to the dolphin with a little helmet on. That was classic. I love that one. But no, I mean, in the
orange uniforms with the orange helmet. Or orange pants, a teal uniform, and this helmet.
Now, that helmet is awful, Kyle. It's just awful.
I'm not denying that. This is a hideous helmet.
Okay, we still have to play a game.
Yes.
And this is still about protecting the shield. This would destroy the shield. I hate the look.
I don't think it gives you something extra to talk about. We saw the Falcons and the Jaguars play today. Or not today, but we saw them play this year.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, why not do ridiculous uniforms for a game that nobody's going to watch otherwise? It draws people in. It gives people something to look at.
I like the alternative. Okay, that's not bad. That I can deal with because it still is playing off of their history. I still think the white helmets with the numbers underneath are some of the best helmets that have ever been produced.
That one's bad.
That one's awful. Yeah, the Bears, I love the Bears that they use for their throwbacks with the lines on top.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
This one's cool.
Well, it's just, instead of orange and black, it's black and orange. It's just, they can do better. I would rather see them put a tiger on the side. Not that big, but I like that. I'd rather see that one.
Look at this one. This one's cool.
No, That's awful. God, you can't even tell it's a tiger on the side.
I think it's cool.
You know what I'd like to see? Going back to the Bears for a second, I'd love to see the Bears do a helmet with the bear on the side.
Yes, I would too. I saw one of those. I wonder if I can find it. Well, I'm looking for that. What about this for the Cowboys?
No, that's awful. That's hideous.
No, I like this one a lot.
That one's not bad. Again, it's doing something different, but it's keeping it in the realm of being reasonable. Oh, yeah, they should have wore that helmet with those lime green ones. Jesus. No, those are just awful.
I love it. Ooh, look at this one. I actually would like to see this on the field.
With the G not that big.
The G not that big, no, but the white helmet.
Sure, why not?
All white. I think that would be awesome.
I would have no problem with that.
This is one of my favorites. I love this. Just so you know, he's putting on his glasses because he's blind, but this is amazing.
You will too someday. I don't mind that with the NY in the background.
It's a fighter helmet.
I don't like the top of it.
Oh, how do you not like the top of it?
Very easily.
Fighter helmet.
I would rather see him go to the one in the lower right-hand corner.
This one?
No, the white one.
No, I left it, so now I can't find it. That's ugly.
That's ugly. I don't like that one. That one is cool. That one, you want to do it for a game? Sure.
This one?
Why not? You're the one talking about going out there. At least
you are saying the ones I'm picking are ugly, and you just picked the ugliest helmet we have looked at.
I'm not saying that's not ugly, but really see that? At least you know it's a jet.
This one's amazing.
That
one's great. Let me see if I can pull this up a little bit better. There we go.
No, that's hideous. I hate it. I hate it. I really want to see what the people are watching have to say about this.
I mean, especially if you do like a military day. You know, on Veterans Day, if the Jets come out in this, it's a fighter helmet, make it, come out with the same color uniforms and just do.
Oh, yeah, and have the Top Gun music playing in the background? No.
Yeah, I'm in.
The NY with the Jets is cool.
Bring in
the rest of it is awful.
And have the Jets fly over.
No, can't do it.
Awesome.
You want to see some ugly ones? Look at that Colts uniform on the left-hand side.
This one?
Yes.
This is amazing.
That is ugly. What does that have to if you wanted to do the blue helmet all the way with the white horseshoe, just as a difference, what they currently have, great. That is ridiculous. It's ugly. It's distracting. It's
beautiful. I love this
There's
helmet.
nothing beautiful about that.
You can't convince me that's not a cool helmet.
Oh, sure I can.
No. That's amazing. Ooh, look at the Broncos one. I like this one.
You can't even tell the horses on there. That's awful.
I don't know what in the world you're talking about. That's
I
amazing.
hate that.
Here's the Bears one you were talking about. That's awesome.
Well, okay. That would be awesome if you got rid of the little orange thing on the side and reduced the size of the bear.
I want to see it like that. I think it's amazing. There's a lot of cool ones. I love them. I absolutely love them.
Look, you can go back to, I was
That's
just
really
going to point, that's awful.
That's really bad.
That's just terrible. And I'm one I don't know what they were thinking when they came up with the original logo for that team with Brucey the Pirate. Those are just awful. And I'll tell you one that I really do like, as long as we've got this page up, bring up the Washington football team's uniform helmets right now. I love that helmet.
I do too. They're announcing the name.
I heard that.
It's going to be 2nd of February. I hope they stick with football team. I love the Washington football team.
I did too. And I've told you for years, I wish they would have talked to the Indian nations in the area and had them come up with a team that they would like. So you're honoring the Native Americans that live in the area, like the Seminoles do, like the North Dakota Fighting Sioux did for a long time.
Yeah, the Illinois Illinois.
Yeah, I love it when you honor the Native Americans. And I agree on. In fact, even though the history of the Redskins a little different that's portrayed, the name Redskins had to go.
Yeah, it did. It had to go a while ago, and I think sticking with Washington football team, it would have been cool if they would have integrated the Native American tribes and really asked them for their opinion. I think that would have been awesome, but they didn't want to go that route. I think at this point you just stick with Washington football team and call it a day.
Obviously, they're not going to take our input because they are announcing a new name.
Right.
I hope they stick with the color scheme that they've got, because I actually do like the color scheme.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job with it. But we're in Florida with the Florida State Seminoles. There's just a lot of pride around that, and it's cool to see in Illinois around here as the Illinois. A lot of pride there as well. Wisconsin Dells has the Chiefs, huge pride with the Ho-Chunk Nation there. It's awesome to see. They definitely integrate the Ho-Chunk with their high school team a lot.
Well, they should, and I love the fact that when there was just rumors and murmurs about changing the name, the Ho-Chunk Nation came up and said, "You're not changing for the Chiefs." I loved that. That was awesome at that time.
Yeah.
But so if you've seen some of the uniforms and helmets that he's brought up, love to hear what you folks that have been watching have to say about this.
Yeah, they're going to agree with me on this one.
No, they're not.
The uniforms we looked at are amazing. We need to have more alternate uniforms, especially when you start going overseas for games. Like, why are you going to wear your traditional uniforms? Like, make it crazy. Go nuts. Make these as ridiculous and as loud as possible. Make mistakes.
Not go nuts. Go ahead and try something different. I agree. Let Nike come up with something, but not just all black for everybody. That's just silly.
But why not wear 4 or 5 alternates in a season?
Because you've got to have some consistency in the look. You're always trying to get new fans. They're going to be watching a game, and I don't want them to question what they're watching.
Look at Oregon's brand. Oregon's brand is we're going to change these uniforms every single game.
So I don't think they should.
That's part of their brand.
I know.
Packers brand. What's the Packer brand? Green and gold, right? We wear the greens at home. We have the throwbacks. So they should go alternate and just go nuts with it. But it's those uniforms. When you see that, you think of the Green Bay Packers,
Absolutely.
Right? The Chiefs have that same thing. You mentioned the Cowboys. The Cowboys have that same thing, and they don't even wear the blues at home because they're cursed.
They're doing it more now. I think the curse has been broken. But you think of the Cowboys, you think of that silver helmet with a star on the side. Yeah. You think the Chiefs, you think of the red helmet, the arrowhead on the side. You think of the Rams. I actually like what they've done. I don't like the metallic blue that they use this year.
The numbers with the gray uniforms?
Yeah, but they're on the helmet, the blue metallic on their helmet. Right. But I do love the helmet. It's modernized, but yet it's still pays homage to
Yeah.
the
And I think
Rams
a
of
lot
the
of teams can
past.
start to do that. But here's my question. You look at the Jaguars, right? What's
Jaguars.
We're not having this conversation again. Listen, apparently I was told last night that I say Jaguar weird,
Say it
and
wrong.
we had a whole argument between my dad, my wife, and even my kids started ganging up on me saying I say Jaguar wrong. I don't care. It's in my head now.
Jaguar.
I, we're not at Jacksonville.
Okay, Jacksonville. They need to change their helmets. I think there's a
But
lot of
why
things they
why
can do.
couldn't they be a team that could literally change their uniforms on a regular basis? They have no brand. They're in the AFC Championship, what, their second year in the league and haven't won anything since.
I think their fans would rather have them spend their money on talent and a coach than they
Yeah,
would on the
they tried that.
uniforms.
We saw how that worked out.
No, they shouldn't do that. Uh, look at some of the other teams. Carolina has, because they haven't been around as long. I think you can try some things with Carolina.
Yep.
I'd like to see the Browns do something different. I love the helmets that they wore with the numbers on the side. Again, it's a better look than what they had.
They tried to do something different, and they put out some of the ugliest uniforms anybody has ever seen.
They can't do much with that color scheme. I mean, brown is not exactly a
Brown and
conducive.
orange, man.
Oh,
Brown and orange.
that's tough. But I love the name of them. They could put a brownie on the side as long as you explain people what a brownie is, because I don't think that people realize that anymore.
It's a baked chocolate dessert.
Yep, we are not putting brownies of that kind on the side.
To the Browns, put actual brownies on your helmet. It would look awesome.
No, I would love to see the Patriots bring back Patriot Pat more often, maybe do a riff on that.
Yeah.
Buffalo, I think it would look great to have a blue helmet with the red buffalo on the side. Any of those kind of things would be great.
Yeah. I mean, you look at, but the Bills changed their uniforms at one point. They're becoming more classic now with what they changed. But think of what they had, back in the day. They had the white helmet and
the buffalo on the side. It was very plain, and I liked the updates that they did. I love the Houston Texans. I hope they don't change drastically.
Yeah.
Because those are.
But Houston's another one. They don't have a tradition of winning. Why can't they be a team that literally is wearing different uniforms on a regular basis?
Because they've got awesome logo and an awesome helmet.
I'm not saying logo. I'm talking about uniforms. I think baseball could do more of that as well, transitioning away from football. I think baseball can do that a lot more. I hate seeing the Cubs grays.
Oh, I hate the
road jerseys coming out. Why are you not wearing your blues? It's the Blues Cubs jerseys. It's our World Series jersey. It's the most beautiful jersey.
It is gorgeous. I would love to see the Cubs bring back the Leon Durham, Ryan Sandberg 84 road uniforms. The blue tops, the white pants with the Cub on the side. Those were awesome. And don't say it. Everybody was wearing pullovers at the time.
Jerseys.
All the teams wore
Remember our last
pullovers.
Show where you talked going to softball? Yeah, let's all wear pullover jerseys to go back to softball.
No, make them button up, but do the same thing. Those were amazing. I don't ever want to see a team like the Yankees go away from the pinstripes and the NY on their hats. Those guys should never change what they do.
Shouldn't. Are these the uniforms you're talking about?
Which ones?
These ones. With the red circled Cub on the side.
Those are awesome. I love those.
These are so bad.
The white pants. Look, do I think they should make them button-ups? Yes. But I love those. And you put the white pants on they'd just be great.
I mean, that's one of the ugliest Cubs.
No. If you want to talk ugly Cubs, go back to the 70s when they had the Robin's Egg blue pinstripe uniforms.
I mean, these are terrible.
The all-time ugliest uniforms the Cubs have ever worn.
Which ones? I wasn't listening at all.
Tends to happen, I know. The Robin Egg blue with pinstripes that the Cubs wore back in the 70s. Those were just awful. Yeah, I didn't see the pinstripes on them. Sorry. But, yeah, they should never go back to that.
Terrible.
Well, there were a lot and back in the 70s and the 80s, Robin's Egg blue was just the color you wore on the road. The Royals did it.
The Royals looked great, though. The Royals looked great. Yeah, the Cardinals weren't terrible.
They were awful.
I wasn't a big fan, but they weren't the worst I saw.
Philadelphia did the same thing with the zip up. Yeah. That I didn't mind at all. They could. those could come back. I wouldn't mind seeing that. But
Right.
for a lot of teams, I mean, look, take the Brewers, for example. I'm so glad that they brought the ball and cap back. I actually like the change. They updated it from royal blue to dark blue. That's fine. But that logo is the best logo in baseball.
Well,
for the
besides
newer.
the NY.
Yeah, of the newer. I said for the newer ones.
Yeah, for the newer ones. I agree.
I think the Cubs should go and have just a Cubby Bear on their caps for a while. Just
with
something different.
I love the C with the Cubby Bear.
Without the C, just put the Cubby Bear on there again.
You could do that too.
Any of those kinds of things.
I mean, baseball does a great job with, Mother's Day uniforms, Father's Day uniforms, even the All-Star uniforms. I mean, these ones the last years weren't great, but, they went out, right? I think baseball could do more of that. I think baseball should. You have 162 games.
Right.
Like, bring out 7, 8, 9, 10 uniforms.
It'd be nice. I mean, I love when they go and like the Brewers have done, where they go back to the Negro League uniforms.
Yeah.
Those are great. I would love to see
when Kansas City does it.
Kansas City for the Monarchs.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh with the Grays. They should do that.
Yeah.
We won't go down this tangent, but honestly, I think that baseball should allow all the Negro League records to count.
Well, why they're not going to do it. They brought in the numbers, but they're not going to bring in. I mean, don't forget Hank Aaron played for the Indianapolis Clowns for a season and hit probably 20 home runs.
They don't really know, and they'd have to go back and count. And I think if they counted,
but they're not going to put Hank Aaron back on top as a home run record.
They should.
They're going to keep it with Bonds. I agree.
I mean, I sent you that article about taking an honest look at what Bonds' numbers would be without the juice, and somebody did a study on it, and honestly, he would have been in the 550 range, and in the season he stole Roger Maris's record.
Yeah,
he would have been in the 20s.
Well, he didn't steal Maris's record. Sosa and McGwire did, and he hit 73 the next year.
Okay, Sosa and McGwire also stole it, but we'll talk about at some point. I do want to talk about how Mark McGwire could have been a hero instead of the GOAT.
He 100% could have been.
But we'll talk about that at another time. So to wrap this up, by the way, just to really touch on the other sport we both love, I love what the Bucks do. You've got kind of a throwback sweatshirt on today.
Well, and that's amazing what basketball does with uniforms, right? I never wear a basketball uniform. I just wouldn't, right? I'm not gonna wear a tank top. It's not my style. But like this sweatshirt I got, right? Cass got me this for Christmas. Thank you, Cassie, if you're listening. I appreciate it. But this is their throwback, right? They went to a new age throwback, and they have merchandise like this, and I think it's great. Last year Milwaukee had the blues. Grayson, my son, loved the blue uniforms, and I even got him a Grayson Allen blue one this year because he's a big fan.
They do the nod to the Hispanic and change the name slightly. I love those. I even love the Cream City uniforms that they wore just because it was something different. They've got 5 or 6 different uniforms to wear.
those were borderline, man.
I like
them. I liked them, but they were right there from being just terrible.
I don't know if you watched the Lakers game the other night. The Lakers have some of the most iconic and best uniforms ever. We're wearing royal blue.
I love the blue uniforms.
Well, how? No.
That's the Minnesota Laker uniforms. They were blue. They changed the colors when we went to LA. It was a throwback.
Okay, if that was what it was for, I didn't realize that it was the Lakers from Minneapolis. Okay, that's fine. They should have had George Mikan name on the back, so I would have known that. But other than that,
I don't know who that is.
George Mikan, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play for my time.
It's hard.
He was the. Thank you. He was the original NBA superstar.
Got it.
The Minneapolis Lakers. But all right.
So I mean, basically, what we need to get down to is the NFL, especially, and baseball. I think basketball does a great job with it because they roll out Christmas Day uniforms. They roll out just special uniforms throughout, and I think that football needs to bring to it. I mean, why not in the playoffs? Bring out an alternate uniform.
Not in the playoffs. Look,
Bucks wore their alternate blues in the playoffs.
I don't ever want to see Pittsburgh go to those bumblebee uniforms again. No. I think the throwbacks have ran their course, and it's now time to do
Right.
do alternative uniforms,
I agree.
but not like
Stupid ones.
no, not
But you can't create classic uniforms without going out on a limb. You have to take that chance. Look at
true.
the Milwaukee Bucks, right? They went all out on a limb and modern and
Yeah, they're awful.
made the new Bucks
No, the
uniforms.
new ones are great.
That's
I'm
what I'm
talking.
saying. But think about it. They took what they had and literally blew it up, brought in the color cream, which nobody's ever used, but because it's Cream City for the Cream City Bricks in Milwaukee, they brought that in and created a whole new
Sure,
logo
those are great.
that is one of the best logos in basketball now.
Football is over 100 years old now.
It is.
Every team's got their identity,
They do.
and I don't think you should go. I mean, let's look at the Cardinal one to just close this out. That Cardinal one with just the eyes at the top, can't tell it's a Cardinal. They're awful. You've got a tradition. You've got what your fans associate with. Riff on it a little bit, but don't be stupid about it.
I mean, you could say that about the Broncos from back in the day when they made their change. I mean, the Broncos had had that since the AFL. That was their original uniform with the D with the horse coming out of it. And then all of a sudden in the 90s, mid 90s, they completely change it and blow it up to a very new age logo,
They
which is
updated
now
it.
amazing.
Yeah, well,
The Patriots, they had, like you said, they had Patriot Pat for all those years.
Mhm.
All of a sudden in the 90s, right after the Bledsoe Super Bowl, they change it up, and in comes Tom Brady with the new look.
but what do both of those examples you have in common? They still maintained the touch with their history of the uniforms they had in the past. Denver, they just kept the horse and got rid of the D and changed the color to update it to a blue.
And an updated orange. It's not even the same orange. They
Right.
completely changed their color
But
scheme, completely changed their uniforms.
they didn't go crazy with it. They went classic with it.
How can you say they went classic with it? They completely changed their
They
uniforms.
went from one. Yeah, I was never a fan of the D on Denver helmets. That's just me. But by taking the horse, putting it on the helmet on the side, they didn't make it a giant one. They didn't have the nostrils coming out the front of the helmet. They just made a very classy looking, updated uniform. The Packers can't do. G is just ingrained.
Right.
They made their change back in the 60s when they went from navy to green.
Right.
The Patriots, they just downsized. Instead of having the full guy on the side, they just went with his head and and made the logo kind of shaped like the triangle hat. I loved it. It was a good update. It was a classic update. I don't want to see Patriot Pat looking out at me over the front of the helmet.
That's fair. The Cardinal one was the only one I thought was cool. I don't think
That
either
was-
the Seahawks or anything. But I mean, there's another example for you. The Seahawks, they kept the uniform they kept the logo on the helmet the same, but they also completely changed the way their uniforms look. Different colors, different. So there's ways you can change it in the NFL where you can completely blow
Sure.
up your uniforms, create something new. And I
Tampa
think
did it
even with
too.
classic teams, Tampa did it too. And I think with classic teams, even like the Packers, I don't want to see them change full time. I don't. I love our uniforms. I never want to see anything different. But you can go with a couple more alternates throughout the year and get rid of the throwbacks. Come up with something crazy.
Sure. Do it, but don't get stupid with it. You want to see ridiculous
I
and
want to
ugly.
see black helmet, all black uniforms for the Packers.
No.
I want to see it on the field, and I think it'd look awesome.
No, I would look. I'm good with the white helmet with the G on the side.
That'd be
I'd be
awesome.
good with green helmets and the G on
No.
the side. I went, the green. If they went with a green helmet, kind of a matte hunter green
Yeah,
with a
I changed
yellow
my
face
mind.
mask, I think, you can't be saying, go crazy, and then say you don't like that
I think
helmet.
even if you just have the white matte green, just with a white G on the side, a white stripe down the middle of the helmet, a white face mask, would look awesome.
I'm good with that. There's subtle changes, but you're still keeping what makes them great.
Yeah, you do. You keep the logo, like you said, you got to keep the integrity of it. But I don't know. There's a lot we can do. We want to hear from you guys as well. Leave some comments below. Tell us what you think about the uniforms. Tell us if we should blow these up, especially with classic teams, to see something new, see something different. We're going to say good luck to the Packers coming into this final week and into the playoffs. I'm sure we'll talk to you before then. But any last words from you on this one?
Looking forward to finding out what final teams will be in the playoffs. Talk about it briefly next week. Actually, we'll probably go in depth in the playoffs next week. Going to be a great postseason. I can't wait for it to start.
I'm excited. There's more parity in the league today than there ever has been. I mean, there were 28 teams that were still in it as of last week, and it's wrapping up now. I think the playoffs are going to look great. I'm hoping our guys make it happen, but we'll see.
Every team has a flaw, and the Packers are not a perfect team. I'm worried about it going into the playoffs.
Not at all. The Cowboys scare me to death.
Yep. Any team with a running attack. Look what we've done. But now we've got Kenny Clark back, and we'll see what happens.
I'm excited. He looked good last week. But thank you so much for joining us this week. Like I said last time, if you guys have any comments that you want to hear us talk about, let us know. Let us know if this opened up conversations for you with your dad or your son or your daughter or your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather. Sports is an amazing thing to talk to family about, and we hope we're able to bring your family together to enjoy some of these conversations. Again, hit us below, like and subscribe on the stuff below. I don't know why I can't talk all of a sudden, but apparently that's
like and subscribe. And remember, please join us again, Sports Talk with Dad.
He talks slower. He makes it sound so much nicer. But yes, please join us next time on Sports Talk with Dad. Like and subscribe below. Leave us your comments. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.